The path is your own journey.
Right.
The initiate has to go on its own journey. And you can't take nothing with you. And you at the goddamn crossroads. And the crossroads is, are you ready to go to the next level?
Yeah.
Because guess what? I can't take you to the next level. You got to make that decision.
Alright, so I just want to touch on enemies for a second. Preferably hidden enemies. Because I feel like those of us that stay true to our spiritual path, those of us that are actually individuals, and we don't follow the herd, we don't follow the sheep, we don't follow the hive mind. I feel like a lot of us had these same encounters with people far and wide, and a lot of times it come from the people closest to us. Sometimes it come in the form of strangers. But all in all, a lot of times we wind up being in close proximity with people that turn on us or don't have our best interests at heart and things like that, and wind up just being envious and jealous spirits and things like that, and just pretty much turning their energy and directing it towards us. And you know, the fucked up thing about it is most of the time it be the people you actually help, the people you're actually open to, and the people you allow to gain some of your energy or just be in your space, you know what I mean? So of course I gotta bring it home. We gotta point out the first hidden enemy, and that of course would be ourselves. And I say that because we could be our own hidden enemy due to our unawareness, due to our gullibility, due to our naivety, due to our just innate want to give direction, give a person some comfort, offer a person a shoulder to lean on, an ear to hear and shit like that. You know, a lot of us just always been like that. And I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a person that ain't never hurt nobody or never lied or manipulated or done things in my past. You feel what I'm saying? However, I've always traveled with a heart, a kind heart. I always help where I can help. I always give advice where I can. I always make space for those that I feel are important to me and that I love, and strangers. But a lot of times, these same people we lend a helping hand to, these same people we show favor and open our energetic field to, sometimes turn against us, or a lot of times never was with us. You feel me? And I feel like one of the reasons that happens is because they lack the ability, or they lack the energy to want to just do the work, just do the internal work. Because, you know, nobody really want to confront themselves. Nobody wants to be wrong. Nobody wants to be vulnerable. Nobody want to have conversations and get some understanding, because that involves intimacy. So a lot of times people just want to run off and have a disagreement with you and not seek no resolution. You feel me? So a lot of times it comes from the people closer to us. It comes from our family members, come from our co-workers, it come from our community, our environment, and shit like that. And I found that a lot of people are drawn to your energy, and they think you got some shortcut or magic trick type of way to get to a space of satisfaction. You know, a lot of people on the outside looking in, they viewing your energy that you might not even be aware of yet, or you might not be acquainted with or understand. You might just be dealing with your own demons or dealing with your own insecurities. But from the outside looking in, from them, you look perfect, or you look like you think you know everything, or you look like you think you all that. And a lot of times that energy tick these people off. Many times people will come and get close to you like I said, and when they see that it's work that has to be done, when they see that you're not perfect, when they see that it's a everyday struggle, and it's not just a 1 day, 21 day, 30-day program type of thing, they start to understand that, damn, you just a strong motherfucker and you just enduring. And you learning as you go. And you just happen to carry some grace. You happen to carry some form of anointing. You happen to, just have that it factor. Have your gifts and your talents, and you might have some real confidence or whatever the case may be. And you just never know where a person is actually at spiritually a lot of times. A lot of times people are dealing with extreme insecurities. People are dealing with shit that traumatized them, that they allowed to turn them, over to the more wicked side. So a lot of times these people start to aim energy towards you with malice intent. Even after you being so loving, you being so giving, you being so open and fair with these people. And they got the same 24 hours in a day that you have. But for some reason, they spiritually lazy, and they utilize victimhood to justify their lack thereof. So you'll find that people gain an unhealthy obsession with you from far away. These are the type of people that if they can't have it, they don't want you to have it. For example, like the Nipsey Hussle situation, where somebody that was just around him and watched him come up, and a lot of the guys that watched him come up, even some of the older guys, just ain't want to see him build and see him rise. And these type of situations happen every day. This shit been happening since biblical times. You got you got Cain and Abel, brothers, shit like that, just that fatal attraction type of energy. And those of us that are spiritually aware, we already know when we're dealing with somebody that doesn't have a certain level of spiritual awareness, they're an open vessel for this spirit to utilize them. So understand, I'm not really talking about people. I'm talking about a specific spirit that utilizes unaware vessels or traumatized vessels, and people that are not willing to do the work to try to overcome or to learn to live with the things that they've been through. And a lot of times it comes in the form of people that got way more than you. People got cars, money, house, everything that look good on paper, yet they just can't put their finger on what it is about you that rubs them the wrong way. And I've dealt with this time and time again. People don't like to see other people satisfied or content with themselves. They feel like you're supposed to want the same shit they want. They feel like you're supposed to be occupied with a lot of the things that they're interested in, the things that they feel like make them who they are. But when they see that you okay with being you okay where you at, you okay on the journey, you okay with working for whatever it is and working towards whatever it is, and you're not giving them the praise that they need to fill that void of their insecurities, that's when the switch happens. That's when the spirits start getting active. And a lot of times it utilizes gossip and shit like that as a weapon. So understand, like I said in the past, this is a spirit that doesn't have a vessel. It needs a vessel. And one of the fastest vehicles it uses is gossip. Preferably using gossip amongst people that know of you or think they know you and shit like that. Because this spirit wants to change the perspective on who you are, what you represent, and things like that. And, I just want to say, always stay as much as you can in your realm of protection. And when I say that, I mean, we're protected by the fact that we don't have malice hearts. We don't wish bad on others. We don't want to see people downfall. And I feel like these type of people that deal with envy and jealousy and things like that, they don't understand that. Because I don't understand. Because myself, I don't understand jealousy and envy because it's just not in me. And I'm talking about even towards my worst enemies, which, like I said, we're our only hidden enemy for real. So it's really no such thing as having enemies. But, even people I done had fights with, people that stole from me, lied to me, whatever the case may be, I can't find it in myself to want to see them fail, to want to see them do bad, to ever aim any of my energy towards them with malice intent. Yes, I've had misunderstandings with people. Yes, I've cut people off. Yes, I've walked away from people. Yes, I've done wrong before. But my heart won't allow me not to forgive people. My heart won't allow me not to forgive myself. So I just feel like those of us that resonate with the message that I'm giving right now, we just not built like that. And to go even further, we actually wish these people the best and they don't even know it. So we got to stay inside our protection bubble as much as we can. And our protection is that we have pure hearts. And a pure heart is not something you just, people sometimes you might be born with an open heart. You might be born as a giver and shit like that. You might be born as somebody that's loving, but your heart will be tested. So, when we don't buck back, when we don't gossip, when we don't send them wicked energy like they do us and shit like that, we stay in our protection bubble. We stay with the armor of God on. And that's why a lot of these people, though they wishing bad on you, wishing death on you and things like that, trying to slow you down, they can't wrap their mind around how you keep going, how you keep expanding, how you keep flourishing, how you keep getting better, how you keep showing up, how you keep being favored, how you keep stepping deeper and further into your purpose. I done had people wish literal death on me. And when you spiritually tapped in, you could feel the energetic pulls on you from people. Especially when you still hold space for them energetically. And that's another thing. We got to learn to let live and just let people go and get them out of your energetic field, get them off your mind, get them out of just out of your life period, and just wish them well. Because here's what happens when we still think about them, when we still got an issue with them and things like that. We feed them because this spirit feeds off negative energy, any type of energy, attention, anything. It's a desperate energy. It needs, like I said, it needs a vessel. It don't have a vessel. So even just a back and forth argument that's not going to go nowhere, it loves that. It loves to be mentioned. It loves to be thought about because then it could gain some access to some energy because it's a parasitical spirit. It's a spirit that want to cause confusion. It's a spirit that don't seek no understanding. It's a spirit that only seek to be right and can never be wrong. And even if the person admit that they was wrong, they want to speed past it just to gain more access to your energy. And, I realized that a lot of times this shit just be homegrown. People that watched you grow up, people that watched you when you ain't have nothing, people that were in your life and had an influence on you and things like that. And when you begin to step more into who you are and you start to place your boundaries that are healthy for you, you start to realize that these are the first people that got a problem with it. Because 9 times out of 10, when you put your boundaries up, it put them on the outside of that boundary, and they don't have as much access to your energy anymore. So the next best thing for them to do is like talk about you and beat your name down and get other people to feel some type of way about you. And that's a form of witchcraft. You feel me? Changing the perception, distorting the perception of a person through words. And some of these people, I didn't even know people was out here really actually wasting their time going to actually do like real rituals and really do spells and shit like that. Because we got to understand, we living in a time where spirituality is a trend. So people going to deal with spirituality on a level that they on. So a lot of people on a level where they just do rituals all day. They just feel like they witches and warlocks and shit like that, and never understand and never have ever risen to true power. Because in reality, they being utilized by their traumas. In reality, they being utilized by their own unawareness and their own greed, jealousy, hate, whatever the fuck it is. And they unforgiving. It's an unforgiving spirit. It's a spirit that never forget and hold on to a grudge forever. And really want to really see you down. A lot of people want to see you down, wouldn't mind if they were to see you dead. Especially when you start living your truth. Because when you start living your truth, it's not going to involve people that come around to take advantage of you. So we got to be careful. A lot of times people that's close to us, and people that's strangers or people that's just colleagues and co-workers and things like that, a lot of times they show their hand because they be paying attention to shit they shouldn't be paying attention to. You ever had a person kind of make a comment about you or give you a compliment or say something that you could just tell they've been pondering on and they've been wondering about, and they just so interested, intrigued with your energy and who you are, that they have already made up a narrative about you in their head, whether it's a good one or a bad one. It's still, and they got the right to do that. It's just the fact that these people start to kind of target you, start to target your energy, start to pay too much attention to you. And when they feel like they can't match up, or you come around and they begin to get insecure and things like that, it shines a light on what they lack and they can't stand that. And instead of them saying, okay, this is a person that I could be motivated by, this is a person that I could look up to and kind of follow their lead, or gain some advice from, or gain some insight, or be a friend, or an actual friend of, or a family member, or whatever the case may be. Instead of them doing that, they allow themselves to turn dark. They allow themselves to turn wicked. And it's really all due to lack of meaning in life, lack of purpose in life, lack of awareness about their own gifts, their own talents, their own power. Because I ain't never looked and met a motherfucker in the world that I felt like I wanted to be, that I felt like I even had enough energy to waste my time to wish bad on or think about. And man, it's so much shit that I've been through that most people would have hated a person forever for. And I ain't spent 1 second or 1 minute looking at it like that. I could be hurt. I could be heartbroken over it. I'm going to get over it though. And I'm going to always come to conclusion that is we all human and we all go through shit. We all have our own traumas, and a lot of times most people are living through that space. And that's between them and God. Who am I to say where they should land at? But yet, these people take it amongst themselves to feel like they know better what's better for your life or who you are than you do. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't really know what it is, but it become like an obsession. Sometimes hidden enemies come as people that's close to you that don't support you. People that should be hitting the like button. People that should be sharing your content, should be sharing your store, whatever the case may be. People that should be showing up to your events. People that behind the scenes you allow to share your resources with it. And when I say resources, I mean your time, your energy. Because a lot of the things about those of us that are on our spiritual path, one of the things is a lot of the things that we bring to the table are intangible things, yet they are very powerful things. Like helping somebody see themselves in a different light. That's healing. Hearing somebody out, listening to somebody, that's healing. It feels good to be heard. It feels good when you feel like you communicating with somebody. Communication has a healing factor to it. And when you got a pure heart, when you speak to people and you care for people, you heal people. Real shit. And a lot of times these people know that. They know that you are have an angelic presence to you. And you bring some shit to the table, but because it's not something material all the time, it's not something we could count and something we could hold and shit like that. These people play little games. Like, what you talking about? I'll be having this, I'll be having that. They justify who they are by what they have because they lack inner substance. And I guess they just hate people like myself for that. I don't know. But this is the weird world that we live in. It come in the form of like I said, people just not being encouraging. When they should show up, they make sure that they don't show up, so their absence speaks louder than their presence and shit like that. It just be little bullshit. People that pass off little jokes and shit like that, but it really be telling you how they really actually feel, and you can't really address it because these people don't deal with direct, intimate communication. Everything got to be roundabout. This spirit is a cowardly spirit. Because if you bring something up like, damn, what you mean by that, or why you saying that, or why you say that about me, or whatever the case may be, they're like, what are you talking about? I ain't even mean it like that. I was just playing. You taking it too serious. It ain't even that deep. But we gotta understand that a lot of the things people say out their mouth, especially the first few things people say out their mouth, is the first thing that's on their mind, or they have on their mind, or they interested about, or they curious about us. And we living in a time right now where we just gotta be careful as being the individuals that didn't follow and don't follow what everybody else is doing, because we're gonna be seen more and more. We starting to stick out like a sore thumb. Because everybody's doing one or two things, and we doing what we doing. We following our intuition. We in communion with ourselves. We don't move off what the trends is. We don't move off what the culture doing. And we never did. A lot of us already knew since we was children, like, yeah, we don't fit in. We probably try to find our way where we could fit in. We able to be friends with any and everybody. We able to understand any and everybody, yet it seems like nobody really could hold a capacity to really be our peer in the space of whether that's intellect, spirituality, or just being somebody that's, got that it factor, got that charisma, and just holding the energy up. You feel me? It's always a drain with these type of people. It's always a pull down. It's always something in the background. It's always an ulterior motive. It's always a discontentment with these kind of people. They're never content, no matter what they have. They say, only if I had this, and then when they get it, now that after a week or two go by, they back in the same emotional and mental instability and turmoil that they was in before, because they believe that it's out there. They believe that once they get it, once they get over there, once they finally have this or have that, they'll feel complete. And they always come to the same conclusion. They always come to the same results. And that's discontentment. And those of us that are spiritually tapped in the real way, we know how to take our licks and keep it moving. We know how to take our losses. We know how to just turn lemons into lemonade. And people hate that. And a lot of people just be in secret competitions. Period. They acting like they with you just to see what you're doing. And you can see it a lot of times. A lot of these people are not creative, so you can see them just biting your style, copying off you and shit like that, utilizing your words and shit, using your mannerisms and things like that. Like, it always show, it always come out. And one of the biggest hidden enemies is those that just don't match us energetically. You might be the type of person that like to work out and like to go to the gym, but this person be like, nah, we don't have to go there. We could just skip this day and shit like that. They not of like mind. They not of like heart. They not of like spirit. Every time you spend time with them, it's like spending time away from your path. Every time you deal with them, you taking steps off of your journey. When you should be dealing with people that y'all going in the same direction. At least. You feel me? So it's not a pull. It's not a thing that where you got to stop doing what the fuck you doing or put something else on the back burner just to even deal with these type of people. You feel me? But understand, these people are dangerous, and it's no hope for them until they have hope for themselves. So you could try to fix them, you could try to help them out and all that. That shit don't really do nothing. I used to be the person everybody call, be on the phone with them 2 or 3 hours at a time, speaking to them, talking to them, giving them love, giving them information, giving them insight, giving them direction, being encouraging and shit like that. And then they take your energy, they take it elsewhere, and then they come back when they want to refill. And they don't implement or apply any of the insight, direction, information that you gave them. Because they love victimhood. Because victimhood puts them at an advantage. It always put them at an advantage where they could point the finger and say, woe is me. And you will never see no consistency from these type of people. They always start some shit and don't finish it. They always on to the next big scheme, the next big lick, and they never really buckle down and materialize their purpose. And because you are somebody that is led by your purpose, is led by your meaning, is led by God, is led by your intuition, by your heart, by your, and you in your right mind, you stepping into a world where you materializing your purpose regardless of what anybody think, and that rubs these people the wrong way. But remember, we talking about a spirit. So, It's a time right now where we got to be a little bit more careful of how we entertain strangers. We got to be careful of who we share our energy with, even if they good people, even if they nice people, because sometimes by default, a person unawareness, a person's blind spot spiritually is going to fall on your lap anyway. Because to those to whom much is given, much is expected. Those of us who know better, those of us who are aware, have a responsibility that those who are unaware don't have and don't live by. And these people don't live by no code. These people are blinded by their rage, by their anger, by their insecurities, by their doubts, by their trauma. They blind. So they don't even see you as you are. They see you through a traumatized lens. And they'll project their insecurities, they'll project their shortcomings, they'll project their emotions and mentality and feelings onto you. So, moving forward, just stay on point and stay dangerous.